Hello,
Yes. Hi, Agathe. How are you doing?
I'm super good, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. So happy to be tuning in this morning. What time is it where you are?
I'm in New York and it's 1 p.m.
Mm,
But it's really chilly out. So I haven't been out yet because I started early, but I'm going out just after.
good. Well, happy Monday, everyone, wherever you're logging in on the planet. We're very excited to be meeting, joining for a coffee, a lunch, or maybe an apéro. I can see people joining from Paris here. We
Oh,
gonna
yes, please drink for me.
Yes, exactly. Cheers and happy holidays, everyone. We're gonna be talking about keys and tools to find alignment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's always the end of the year is always a good time for us to relax, pause, and self-reflect on what happened this past year, but also recharge the battery,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like really create this space so that we can start the new year strong and fully aligned.
Yep.
So I
Sounds like
guess
a plan.
I'd like to ask you what would be the first tip you'd like to share with our community on how to gain alignment?
Well, first, I think I want to say before, because we are in a society that is always trying to self-improve. So always trying to improve, always trying to do something better, always to try to find a new tip or trick and everything. And I think that alignment is actually a very useful practice because it tells you when you feel off balance and everything. So alignment is really great to rebalance anytime. And it's true that at the end of the year, we get like very excited by all the things we've achieved and all the things we want to do. But I love, um, I love nothing more than a pen and paper. I'm a pen and paper girl, and I think if you can write it down, I know. Yeah, I'm a Moleskine girl. I've have like them in all colors and everything, and I think if you can write it down, it helps clarify and anything that you can. So I have a practice that I write down. I journal, like even if it's 3 minutes every night. I journal, and it helps you, or it helps me, see if I'm aligned with what happens and what I want. So little comparison. So pen and paper, writing down what you want, so that
Mm-hmm.
when you express them, it comes out easier because you because once it's in paper, it gets
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
trick it.
Yeah, I love it. So I love your process. You're really starting here with the end in mind. You're starting with what you want to create, right? What you want to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
And you're writing down, comparing, I hear, what you want to manifest and what your life look like currently, right?
Yeah.
And that helps
Mm-hmm.
you like identify the gap,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, recognizing um, I would say recognizing where we are at any moment is the first step to connect to a longer goal or later goal.
Yeah.
And
How do
so
you do it? How do you do it?
there are many, many ways to do it. So what we're talking about here is um, when we say recognizing, really we mean feeling.
Yeah.
We mean
Mm-hmm.
feeling in our body the current state we are in. And depending on the time of the day, the the people, the environment you are in, the the experience and the experience you're feeling and the stories you're telling yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the tools are going to be different. But the
Yeah.
only thing that's going to be the tools to change, right, to switch, and we'll get there in a minute, are going to be different. But the only thing that remains the same at all times, the first thing, and I think that's the first key for today on like how to gain alignment, is pause and get back in your body.
Yeah.
Whatever is happening, whatever is happening currently in your life could not happen if you didn't have a body.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take this season and this holiday and, you know, this end of year to cherish our bodies and take this opportunity to, you know, be grateful for that wonderful vessel that helps us experience what we're experiencing in life. And so quick tip on how to feel. People are going to say, well, yeah, but okay, well, that's easier to say, processing emotions. Like, you know, we hear all the time, I don't know how to process my emotions. We are not talking about processing.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about accessing our senses. We're talking about feeling through our senses. So first tool to gain alignment, pose, take a deep breath. Posing can mean nothing more than just taking a deep breath. And we can all do it together right now. Just taking.
Mm-hmm. And feeling your feet on the floor. I love that. Like always when I'm to ground myself, it's just to feel my feet wherever they are.
Yeah, it's feeling this verticality in our body. You
Mm-hmm.
only need 1 minute to reconnect your feet to the earth and your spirit to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And in 1 minute of pose, you're certainly going to be able to feel through your senses. What does it mean? It
Mm-hmm.
can mean getting excited for whatever is coming up. It can mean getting nervous for the presentation that is ahead of you. It can mean feeling, you know, anxiety or for these very difficult, complex problems you're trying to solve. But at all times, the only thing we need to do is just ask ourselves, what am I feeling and where am I feeling it? So maybe Agathe, would you like to answer those questions? What are you feeling right now and where
Yeah,
are you feeling it?
it's it's really nice, Aurélie, the way you phrase it, because I just I have two teenagers, two teenage boys. So let me tell you, feelings are not part of the everyday equation. But I tell them, like, remember to breathe, because the breathing is not you doing it. Like, you don't digest, you don't, there's plenty of things we do, but there's plenty of things we don't do. And breathing is clearly one of them. Like, we don't need to remember to breathe. We breathe every day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really like, how does it feel in the body? And I think that this capacity to pause, and I did meditation years ago with a guy who was amazing. And he said, if you can, to really go, this Buddha belly, when the Buddha belly is because by the belly, and see if there's a smile in your belly. And I always remember this feeling. So sometimes I'll try to find if there's a part in my body that feels that smile, and maybe it's not in my belly, maybe it's, maybe it's in my hands or maybe, and if there's a part of me that's has pain or tension, which is always, by the way, my neck. So it's the computer disease, but and so to breathe in those space, and for me the neck is always the place where I have tension of all the things that I want and that I'm hoping, and that I have expectations, like, this, like, not good enough, the I want more, did I do it well, all that is usually my neck.
Yeah, me too. Well, shoulders and neck,
The
I feel
back
the same way. Yeah, so that's where tension get trapped, right? And tension can get trapped anywhere in our body.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very good transition for I think, another tool is when tension is trapped. So tension is an emotion that is contracted. And an emotion can be an expansion, it's fully felt and it's very positive, or it can be contracted and create tension. It is trapped in our body. Well, an emotion is only energy in motion going through our body. And so at all times, we can decide to liberate that tension.
Yeah, well, tell me the fast trick, because it doesn't work that fast.
Well, if it's so, well, it's not that fast, but it's, it's our own timing. So I think, time is our ally. We strongly believe at Hard Workers that time is our ally. So when it may be longer than expected, right? Whether you're sick or whether you are going through this difficult, challenging conversation with someone that is not going anywhere, there is a reason why this time is happening. And the second to I'm going to tell you, you asked me, okay, one quick win, right? In my previous career, we used to look for quick wins all the time. One quick win is let go of the outcome.
I know. I should have tattooed that on my arm.
Yeah, it's so hard. We are constantly, and I'm a strong resolute. My business partner, reminds me all the time, and we are connected to a solution. We're not connected to the situation to advance, right? The infinite minded game, right? The infinite mindset is when you let go of the outcome and you're just working on advancing the situation using goals and metrics to measure your progress, right? But what we tend to do is using our finite mind and in identifying what we think is the best solution for ourselves and others. And that's when, if we find blockers on our way, we get tense in our neck and our shoulders.
Yeah. And I don't know for you if you know the difference, because I'm more anxiety prone. So like more tension about the future, which is and that's the thing. But there's sometimes where it's more depressed tense when it's about the things I didn't do well, that I should have done, and from the past.
Yeah.
That's like, it's two different tension, and they come in very different ways. And usually my neck is the future. Like I know I'm attached to those outcomes or what I want. And when I have, it's more in my belly, the past. It's like, j'aurais pas fait, I should have done this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
rehashing.
I am not enough. I should have done better. I should have done differently.
Or I can't go back in the past.
So we are, right, we're constantly in between the past and the past and the future. And what we owe for ourselves is to find this space in the present when we're letting go. So the future we were describing earlier, we're letting go of the outcome because we know we're going to work and do our best no matter what to advance the situation. And we are also letting go of the guilt. The guilt is the lowest energy our body can experience. It is going to like degrade and drain our level of energy and prevent us from accessing the information we need to continue advancing. Right?
Yeah. Guilt is useless. Guilt is there, but it's the most useless energy ever.
Yeah, but we live in this Western Occidental society where guilt is part of our education, is part of our upbringing. You constantly like pointing the finger on our children for not doing it right, for not doing it the way we wanted them to do it, the way we think is the right way. Yep. When what we could, and I work in school, so let me tell you, we're not there yet, but what we ought to do for the next generation is creating the right conditions for them to be able to advance their own path. And to advance your own path, you only need to better understand who you are and the world around us. So the world around us, we're doing an okay job at, transmitting, okay, the world works like that. It's all about money, make money. But when it comes to advancing our understanding of human beings, well, transmission is really poor. This is a judgment. Yes. Yeah, this is one of my big mission. I'm an activist for like ed reform, and so
Yeah.
sometimes it shows up. Yeah.
It with children. So once you've learned that very early, it's very hard to change the process. But it is absolutely feasible to change. And I think that is basically the highest form of fun you can have, is being able to imagine changing yourself and changing your reaction and seeing yourself in a new way. It's actually, that's the superpower we have.
Yeah, changing perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one is in the middle of the map. No one, it is an illusion to believe, when we go to school, at school, we learn that, our country is in the middle of the map, right? And then we're going to find our ways to position ourselves in the middle of the map. But this is only an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is that we are able to recognize that, oh, we can be in the middle of the map, or we can be at different places. What we ought to do to ourselves is just like change perspective and put ourselves in the shoes of the person in front of us. This is empathy. This is what we are missing in so many places, right, in our society. When I'm thinking of places, I'm thinking of work, obviously workplaces, but I'm also thinking of family. When like our kid or a cousin or a brother or don't think the same way as us, we are judging, condemning them.
Yeah, I know.
Well, this
And
is perspective.
yeah, and I was raised by a very, sorry, this is New York, so if you're having
Yeah, thank
uh,
you. New
the
York City, we love you.
the ambulance. And by the way, like the noise in New York, or these ambulance are so loud that people get really like stressed about it, because they interrupt your day. And so I replaced hearing, each time I hear an ambulance, I have a trick for myself that it reminds me to breathe, so that it gives me at least a good feeling when I have them. So usually when I hear an ambulance, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm alive and I can breathe. So it's just to shift, the annoyance to something good. But
Yes.
and
Yeah, well done.
it,
Can I pause for a second? We can add that quick tip to anything, any annoyance you have in your life. You can decide to switch it. You hear a plane going in LA, it's not the ambulance, it's a plane going on, on top of your garden, and you can be really annoyed by that. You can decide to switch and breathe. Take that minute to breathe. Thank you, Aya.
and or like you can, sometimes I decide that I have this idea that now I want to and this is going to be maybe out there for some, but I've decided I wanted to reconnect with my guardian angel, since
Yeah.
I'm raised Catholic, but I've never really practiced. But I thought a guardian angel is a nice thing to have, so I'm going to keep having a guardian angel, because I've decided to take only the good things. So I've also decided that each time I hear an ambulance, I will connect it with, like, oh, it's my guardian angel letting me know that he or she is here. So it's kind of like alchemizing a situation. And I think that's the idea, is like, and that's the power we have, is when we can alchemize, when we can shift a situation from one thing to the other. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, oh my God, this is one of my favorite words, alchemists, right? I believe we are
Yeah.
human beings are alchemists.
Mm.
Okay, how do we figure these science? How do we for ourselves? Well, that's really, I think, what we're trying to prove, and what neuroscience and any kind of physician of quantum physics is trying to show us. And so on that one, I think, to me, before going into alchemy, I'd love to go back there. I always like to start with the end in mind. So again, in my opinion, and Naval Ravikant, who is like a really business guide for me, said one day.
Who did you mention?
Naval Ravikant.
I don't know him. Okay.
Naval. Oh, okay. We can put it later on in the
Yeah.
on comments.
I love discovering new.
Yeah, he's an angel investor, and always with plenty of wisdom to share. And he said, in any situations, really, you have only three choices. If you don't like what you're experiencing, you can whether change it, and do everything you can to change it, and we'll go back there. This is our power of alchemy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you can't change it, and whether you've done everything you can, or right away you can't change that situation, that happens. I'm not going to change my parents who are X years old. No. And I love them, and I want to experience the best time with them. So I'm going to accept them and not spend 1 second losing energy by judging, or I'm going to do everything I can to accept the situation as it is without losing any energy, right? If I can't change it, but I don't want to accept it, then I'm going to live it, right?
Yeah.
That's a very difficult decision personally I made when I decided to leave the father of my daughter. But there were no possible change, and I couldn't accept it, so I left. Now the third solution is what we're discussing here. How do you change, right? How do you operate this alchemy we all have inside of us in order to create the most beautiful situation you can, whether it is in a relationship, whether it is at work, whether it is in the family. So do you want to talk about alchemy real quick, Agathe?
Yeah. So it's great, and I don't know Naval, and I will look him up because I just heard, and this was on Instagram, like a quick story, and the guy was saying, "Give me a 10-second trick when I'm taking a decision." And the guy's like, 10 seconds. Well, write down all the points that are blocking you or stressing you out, and then cross out all the ones that you can't change. Because there's plenty that we can't change. And that's what we forget. We tend to not forget that we can't change something and let go what we can change. So you're right. And alchemy, I think I'm still baby at alchemization.
Yeah.
Baby
That's so cute. I'm still a baby alchemist. Yeah. We can see in the chat. I'm taking that comment's really good one. If you can change a situation, change your attitude. I guess if you want to change a situation, change your attitude. Yeah, it all starts within. This is, it seems like a given, but it all starts with us. Gandhi, be the change you want to see in this world. All that, and so alchemy is exactly the same. It starts with you, right? It starts with you. It's not about the situation. It's not about the other one. And we say, no, we have a whole class about how the other one is only the stimulus, and is not, it's not the reason why you're feeling that way. You're feeling that way because you may have at that particular moment a need that is unmet, and that needs to be taken care. And so back to alchemy, as I saw in the comments, we're all energy. Emotions are energy. I'm repeating myself. Energy going through our body, and we can let it decide to flow with it or flow against it. Okay, let me explain myself. So if emotions are energy going through a body at all times, right? Sometimes they go fast, sometimes they go slowly, sometimes they are pleasant, sometimes they are unpleasant. If we, and it's really a basic, like that basic that I'm unable to make. It's a basic like 4 squares, and you can indulge yourself in those 4 baths, and you're going to experience very different states. What matters is to recognize that you can, if you are against the flow, so again, whatever it is, okay, whether it is pleasant, unpleasant, slow or fast, if you're resisting, you are outside the flow, you are outside the river, you are actually looking at this river, being scared of it for whatever reason, and good reason, and often good excuses, right? You are resisting from getting in. You are outside of it, on the board. You are telling yourself that it is, it is too good to be true, or it is not for you. But you're not believing this is for you, whether it's too good or not good enough. But what happens is that the minute you jump in that flow, that is your own flow of energy, in that exact flow, you can dissolve, we can all dissolve what is happening within us. And how? Going back to tool number one, by feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
By feeling it. And I think feeling has become something we don't really know. You know, we misknow, we misinterpret, right? It's like having emotions or crying is not well recognized. You're not allowed to cry in public. How?
Yeah. Well, I think, I think that there's been such an emphasis on the mind. Like, I'm a very mental person, so it's always easier for me to refuge in the mind than in the body. So I'm not really good at I feeling things sometimes. So I have a practice in the morning. I brush my teeth with a song, meaning that song create movement in me, to create energy, to feel. And whether I feel like in the morning, I'll put a super fun song, or I'll put a sad song, or I'll put an emotional song. I love love songs. But feel, to reconnect and to be in the body, to shake it, to move it. But I want to tell you, Aurélie, that I love listening to you guys, because because I love stories. I love mythology. I love archetypes. I love hearing stories, because they I enjoy them. So I'll tell you one story that has helped me shift and alchemize my thinking, or shift my perspective. Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, came Baby Yoda, right? In the Star Wars, there was this Baby Yoda, which I didn't see, but there was Baby Yoda. And I was like, what? Like, I thought wisdom always came from and wrinkles, like white
Elder.
wrinkles. I was getting to the age of white hair and wrinkles, like you don't see because I color them, but the wrinkles you see. And so I was frustrated, because I was like, I'm arriving to the age of wisdom, but no, there's Baby Yoda. And I was like, how can a baby be wise? And then I realized that, there's the Greta Thunberg of the world. There are all these kids fighting in Hong Kong. There's all these young people who have a lot of wisdom. And so I started calling them my Baby Yodas. And there's some people, I don't know if no one is still on the call, but are listening to us. But I have shifted my thinking, that now I know that people who are younger than me might bring wisdom to me. And I know, when I listen to people who are much younger than me, and I know that they have potentially Baby Yoda in them. And so I shifted my way to only think that wisdom came from old age and, beards and gray hair. And to think that, young people have very, very wise word. And now I find Baby Yodas everywhere, which is, once you see it, once you understand that story, you can create that shift in your mind.
Yeah. Oh, I love Baby Yoda. That's a
Mm-hmm.
great image. Well, I hope, I think we all have a Baby Yoda in us. So that's a cute one for the holiday.
Yeah.
It's a great way to wrap, I think, as well, a session. Agathe, thank you so much. So I'm going to try to do a quick recap, and please build on that if I missed anything. I would say that we started by recommending, well, first feeling. And in order to feel, ask yourself 2 questions every time. Every time you feel like something, you feel triggered by your family members over the holiday. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that may happen. Or you feel triggered by any kind of situation around you in this end of year. Ask yourself, what am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? Do not try to fix anything.
Yeah.
Just answer those 2 questions as first tool.
Observing and acknowledging. Yeah.
Yeah. The second one, was it about, I would call it the flow. So, right. So instead of looking at the river from the river of your energy, your energetic river, jump in it, go in the flow. And there is a great, the founder of the Flow Genome Project, Jamie Will, if you're interested, is absolutely an amazing resource to find out more information about the flow and how to access these states. And it's in these states that we're going to be able to dissolve any tension and be an alchemist. And then the third one is connect to your Baby Yoda. We all have access to inner peace and wisdom and inner wisdom at all times. Let's
And write
find.
it down. Write your stories down. Write your story down. Michelle Obama had a quote one day. She said, "If you don't get out there and define yourself, you'll be quickly and inaccurately defined by others." And I think you are the writer of the creator, but the writer of your own story. And so,
Yes,
that's super important to know that you own that story. It's your body, it's your life, and that you own that story, so you can write that story.
Yeah, journal.
Mm-hmm.
Journal, and be accountable for yourself. Journaling is also a great way to recognize whether you've made progress or not. And if you haven't, it's okay, right? But keep advancing. There is no destination other than advancing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And having fun in the process.
yes, and while you're doing it, have fun. Yes. Well, that's a great way to actually
Especially the
introduce our
holidays.
next class.
Especially
Yeah, to
extra
say
fun.
happy holidays. And so the hard workers, Elodie, Agathe, and I have been creating a pretty cool session to start the new year. It's going to be about giving you the condition to create your own alignment toolbox. So today we talked about a few tools on how to get alignment and clarity over this season. In January, we'll give you the framework for you to start strong and with full clarity and alignment. It's going to be on January 7, and we're excited to invite all of you.
Yeah. And I think, Oli, I think it's really nice. But, when I see people at interviews, I totally can tell if they are connected or not connected to them. See people at interviews, being a recruiter for so long. But, when I see people at interviews, I totally can tell if they are connected or not connected to their heart, if they're aligned or not aligned. And so that's why we wanted to do this thing. It's like to connect, to have that heart and work connection, because I think we are in an era where we can be aligned now. We don't have to separate, work and purpose, or work and heart, and, or careers and purpose. And we can merge them together. So that's what we're going to do.
That's right. That's what we're going to do. Bringing mental and rational intelligence equally balanced with intuitive intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have fun doing it.
Yeah. I love your bracelet. Show me your bracelet.
It's my... Yeah, nice. Guess who did that?
Yeah.
Okay.